Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of Prime Puzzles. Let's get to the questions. Three Indian media houses, NQR, have 9 TV channels in all. The 9 TV channels are C1, C2, so on and so forth, up until C9. Media houses N and Q have 3 and 4 channels respectively. Okay, so R, N, and Q, 3 channels here, 4 channels here, total 9 channels. So R will have 2 channels. This is known. Then we have a bunch of conditions. If C1 blah 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 blah, if C1 is not a channel of media house R, then C5 is a channel of media house N. If C8 is a channel of media house N, then C5 is a channel of media house R. Both C5 and C6 are channels of the same media house. So at this time itself, I can say this is an interesting line. This is an amazingly interesting line because this is giving me some precise information about 2 channels. They have to come together. Okay. Next is statement 4. If C2 is not a channel of media house Q, then C8 is also not a channel of media house Q. So if 2 doesn't come, 8 cannot come. If 2 does come, it is not required that 8 has to come, but if 2 does not come, 8 does not come. Okay. Both C8 and C9 are channels of the same media house. This is also as interesting as statement 3. C5, C6, C8, C9. These are pairs that have to come together. The only place where both these pairs can arrive at is Q because it has 4 spots. Okay, next is C3 and C7 are channels of media houses Q and N in some order. Okay, this is also an interesting statement. On account of the fact that we have precise location for 2 channels being referenced here, I can start with C3, C7 obliquely differentiated between N and Q. If C2 is a channel of media house Q, then C4 is a channel of media house Q. Okay, the combination of these 2 statements, statement 4 and statement 7, is also interesting because see, it starts off with this condition. If C2 is not a channel of media house Q, if C2 is a channel of media house Q. So for both, they are exhaustive in nature. Both these situations are being talked of. Okay, lots of conditions given. In such questions, it is always advisable first go through the questions. Let's see what is required. The problem is I can see this question number 2. It says for how many channels can we fix the media houses? So there are lots of channels for which media houses can be fixed. But I'll solve this later. I'll solve question 1 first and show you what I mean by going through some parts. There are lots of conditions here. So first given to me is if C3 is a channel of media house Q, C3 is here and I was told C3 and C7 are channels of media house Q and N in some order. So C7 has to be here, done. Then which of the following are the channels of media house Q? All I have to do is plug in the options one after the other. And then based on the instructions given, if I can make an acceptable case, that has to be the answer. So let's go with option 1, C1, C2, and C4. First, if C1 is not a channel of media house R, C1 is indeed not a part of media house R, then C5 is a channel of media house N. So C5 is here. And I remember C5 and C6 had to be together. So C6 is here. 1 to 7, everyone is mentioned. So this is C8, this is C9. I have got precise location of all 9 channels. Let me see if any condition is getting violated. First condition is met. Yes. Second condition, if C8 is a channel of media house N, this condition is met because the first part is not holding true. C5, C6 together, yes. C2 is not a channel of media house Q, but C2 is a channel. So this condition is also met. Both C8 and C9 are media houses in the same channel. R, yes, valid. C3, C7 are channels in Q and N in some order. Yes, valid. If C2 is a channel of media house Q, C4 is a channel of media house Q. Yes. All conditions are met within this setup. And therefore, the first option should be acceptable to us. Even if I don't know how many cases there are and how many variations will exist and how many channels can we fix the media houses, I can still solve this question most definitely. I can still solve this question most definitely. Okay. For peace of mind, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go through option 2, 3, and 4. Let's say we are lucky that the first option turned out to be valid here. What if it was not the first option? Let's see how long it takes. Let's say this option was present right at the end. Then what would we do? I would know C7 and C3 based on the question. And then C5, C6, C1. C5, C6, C1. First condition. If C1 is not a channel of media house R, yes. C5 is a channel of media house N. Can you see the violation has already occurred? C5 is in Q and C1 is not in R. So this is an unacceptable case. Let us go to the third option. The third option is C8, C9, and C1. First one, if C1 is not a channel of media house R, then C5 is a channel for media house N. So we have C5 here, we have C6 here. So C2 is left and C4 is left. Let's see if any condition is getting violated. C8 is a channel of media house N. Valid because that condition is not getting fulfilled. C5, C6 are together. If C2 is not a channel of media house Q, yes, it is of media house R. C8 is also not a channel of media house Q, but Q has C8 and C2 is not present in Q. So condition 4 is getting violated in this setup. This is also an unacceptable case. Let us go to the last option. The last option is C5, C6, C4. Okay. If C1 is not a channel of media house R, C5 is a channel of media house N. Okay. Look at this first statement. If C1 is not a channel of media house R, C5 is a channel of media house N. If C1 is still get to be placed, if I place C1 here, if I place C1 here, then C5 should also be here. So not possible. So C1 has to be here. Done. And now because C1 is here, 8 and 9 had to be together. So C8 will be here, C9 will be here. Only C2 is left. Let us go through all the conditions. If C8 is a channel of media house N, C5 is a channel of media house R, but no, this condition is getting violated. The second condition is getting violated, which means this is also an unacceptable case. The only acceptable case is the first one. You are lucky, but even if that option had been present right at the end, we would get to it most definitely. Next question is more about exhaustive number of cases. I will get to it later. Let me see. Question 4 is also about exhaustive number of cases. Channel 9 is a channel of which media house? In the one acceptable case that we have made, channel 9 is in R. So answer has to be either option 1 or option 3. Depending on how stressed for time you are, you can go ahead and mark it down. Now let me start making universal cases. R, N, and Q. Because for the remaining 3 questions, you need universal cases. Can't avoid it. My critical starting point is going to be the 3 interesting points that I had noted. First is C3, C7 in some capacity. C3, C7, C3, C7. I don't really mind C3, C7 because they are only mentioned once all throughout these conditions. So there are definitely 2 cases for them. That is done. Now let us get to the pairing of C5, C6. C5, C6. If I had C5, C6 here, if I had C5, C6 here, then let's see, is any condition getting violated? If C1 is not a channel of media house R, it is not, then C5 is a channel of media house N. No, C5 is in media house R. So can I say C5, C6 cannot come in R? This much I have asserted. C5, C6 cannot come in R. Let me put C5, C6 in N. If I put C5, C6 here, okay. If C1 is not a channel of media house R, then C5 is a channel of media house N. This does not mean in reverse, if C5 is a part of media house N, then R necessarily needs to have C1. Or R cannot have C1. If C1 is present here, both those cases are valid, not a problem. If C8 is a channel of media house N is not a problem. C8 is not a channel. Gone. Both C5 and C6 are in the same media house. Cool. Okay. C8 and C9. Okay. This one here. If C2, okay, C8 is a channel of media house N. So this condition is met. C1, if C1, I can make two cases here. C1 comes here or in Q. C1, C3, C7, C3, C7, C5, C8. Oh, the other case would be C1 being at the other end, C1 being here. Both these cases are acceptable. If C1 is not a channel of media house R, C5, C6, no here. What am I doing? If C1 is not, so this here, and C1 is a part of R, then C5, C6 here, both are acceptable. Okay. If C8 is a channel of media house N, this condition is valid because C8 is not never coming in N. This works. C8 and C9 are okay. So now C8 and C9, in this case, I know for certain, C8 and C9 have to come here. There is no way C8 and C9 are here. Okay. Now the two channels left are C2 and C4. So C2 here, C4 here. Does this work? If C2 is a channel of media house Q, then C4, let's see. Oh, I can't have this because of condition 4. If C2 is not a part of media house Q, C8 cannot be there. So this is unacceptable. Let me put C4 here. Let me put C2 here. But according to condition 7, this would be unacceptable because C2 is a channel of media house Q, then C4 is a channel of media house Q. So this entire storyline is used up, is bad. C1 is here. So if C2, C8, C9, let me place them here. C8, C9. If I place C8, C9, the two people left here will be C2, C4. The problem with this is condition 4. If C2 is not a channel of media house Q, C8 cannot be here. So C8, C9, I cannot place here. To get rid of them, let me put C8, C9 here. So C2 and C4 will be left. I've basically reached the same setup as the first question one, no? Basically reached the same setup. And all the conditions will indeed get met. It is the first setup all over again. Okay, so this is done. So with N having C5 and C6, there are two cases. Let us now finally check out the case when Q has C3, C7, C3, C7, and it has C5 and C6. Okay. First line, if C1 is not a channel of media house R, C5 is a media house N. So C1 has to be here. If C1 is not present here, it will be a problem. If C1 is present here, there is one spot left. C8, 9 have to come together. The only place they can come together is C8, C9 here. Done. Next statement, if C8 is a channel of media house N, which it is, then C5 is a channel of media house R, which it is not. So this is an unacceptable case. So this is the only case that is possible. Awesome. So for how many channels can we fix the media houses? 8, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Apart from C3 and C7, we can fix it for everyone. So for 7 channels, we can fix the media houses. C9 is a channel for which media house? This is the only acceptable case. So C9 has to be with R. For how many media houses can we fix all the channels? Only for R, we can fix all the channels. N and Q still have doubt over C3 and C7. So for one channel, we can fix, so for one media house, we can fix all the channels. The answers are known. It is not so much a difficult set, but You have to be very patient and meticulous in going through your cases. Okay. Next question. Total 12 individuals, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, are sitting in concentric circular arrangement such that 6 of them form the inner circle and remaining 6 form the outer circle. Okay, seems scary. Okay. Let me use a different color. Nice. Those who form the inner circle face outwards away from the center. Okay. 6 people inside and 6 people outside, no? So 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Okay, I have my 12 seats and their orientations also denoted by the arrows. Those who form the inner circle face outwards away from the center, while those who form outer circle face inwards towards the center. Okay, standard setup. The seats are arranged on 2 circles in such a way that the angle subtended by the adjacent seats at the center is equal. Basically, the seats are equispaced. Further, there are 3 different diameters of circles such that the 4 persons, 2 on the outer circle and 2 on the inner circle, sit along each of the 3 diameters. Equispaced seats is the precise same statement. Next is, which of the following information is known? B is facing both H and F. If B is facing both H and F, it means B has to be on an outer seat. Either this is H or this is F, and correspondingly, this is H or this is F. I wish I could cut the figure, or let me use at least a different color pen so that it is visible in black background. Either, what is happening? Why am I deleting things? Either this is H or this is F, and this is H or this is F. Okay, this is known. A is facing only J. So I can't place A right now, but I know A is on the inner side and J is on the outer side, because only people who are sitting on the inner circle will face just one person. People on the outer side will face 2 people. C, D, G, K form a straight line in no particular order. Okay, they are on a diameter. C is to the immediate left of E. Still can't do anything about it because I have nothing available. G is 2 places to the left of B. Okay, if G is 2 places to the left of B, G is here, and C, D, G, K. So this is either C or D or K. This is C or D or K, and this is C or D or K. Okay. This is taken care of. H, E, F, B form a straight line. H, E, F, B. So this line is being talked of. This has to be E. This has to be E. And I knew C is to the immediate left of E. Immediate left of E. So C has to be here facing G. So C is gone from here. C is gone from here. D or K, D or K. Known. Cool. K is facing only D. If K is facing only D, K has to be inside. K is here. D is here. L is facing both I and J. Okay. So L is on the outside, J is on the outside, and I is on the inside. Okay. So it could be L, facing I here, then A facing J here. This is an acceptable case. Another acceptable case, I will write it with a separate color pen. J facing A here, I facing L here. So either the red grouping or the blue grouping, one of these two will work. Okay, let us see the individual questions now. Which of the following could be the ones that form the outer circle, not in any particular order? On the outer circle, I know 3 people for certain. Oh, sorry, no, not even 3 people, 5 people. G, B, D, L, J. G, B, D, L, J. So G, B, D, L, J. 5 of them are here. Good. D is not present here. D is not present here. B is not present here. So this has to be the correct answer. Option 1. H is of course possible. H or F is on the outside, but we know for certain that G, B, D, L, and J, these 5 have to be there. Who is to the immediate right of K? K is seated here. To his immediate right, either you have H or F. So answer has to be cannot be determined. Going on, if F is facing only one person, if F is facing only one person, F is here, H is outside. If F is facing only one person, H is outside. Who is facing H, E, and B? Both E and B. Option 1. Which of the following pairs is not facing each other? Use information from the previous question. Okay, I'll see. I and L. Are I and L facing each other? Yes, I and L are facing each other regardless of the case we take. C and K. No, C and K are on the inner circle facing away from each other. Seems like the right answer. For peace of mind, let us also do GD. G and D are facing each other. Finally, FB. B is here. F is definitely facing. B is facing both H and F. So not the answer. Not the answer. Not the answer. Answer is option 2. Pretty straightforward. Much simpler than the first one. First one had loads to learn. Second one was pretty straightforward. It would have been fun if some people on the inside were looking outside and some on the inner circle were looking outside, some people were looking inside. So when there is uncertainty, it makes the set better. But still, good set, no doubt. I hope you learned something. That will be all. Stopping the recording now, and okay, bye.